Hey everyone, welcome back and thanks for being here again. And this morning I just want to draw some anatomy. I'm gonna try some female anatomy so that it's not so, not too crazy because a lot of the men anatomy is like really bulked up. So let's try something like this. I'm just gonna draw just part of the arm, maybe some of the backs too. I don't know. Let's see what happens. So let's just see how this goes and I'll just go through the process as to, how I would shape something like this. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly sketch this out. Let's see, make sure everything's in frame. All right, let's try. I'm just gonna say this is gonna be this right here. So very roughly. And then let's see here. So here's the armpit right here. So I'm just visualizing this shape and then here's the bicep coming down right here. So I'm trying to visualize this angle right here. Okay, that's the arm coming down. And then here. Elbow, let's see. I'm actually drawing this shape here. Let me move that up a little bit. I'm actually drawing this right here. So I'm using the shadows and things in the shade as reference points when I sketch this. Checking here from here to here. And then going back up. Wrists, just come across right here. So I know somewhere around here. And then here's the dumbbell. I can't see our hands, so it's good and bad. Hands are very expressive, but it takes a long time to draw. All right, so let's just go ahead and start shading because that is the fun part. And let's see where this goes. Well, let me draw a little bit of this so that the arm is not just floating in the air. So I'm using these little reference points here. Okay. So the way I'm drawing this is really, I'm just trying to draw what I see as opposed to say, oh, this is an arm and this is elbow and things like that. I like to approach it this way because there's no, you don't need to see the underlying structure as much. You don't have to understand anatomy as much. I'm just drawing what it is that I see. Okay, so let's start shading here. So with this part up here, I know the highlight's right around here, and then there's gonna be a strong rim lighting here. Okay, and then it kind of right here's a little bit darker, or the darkest part, I mean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just give it a shade. It's kind of loose. My pencil's a little sharp. Probably better if it's a little bit duller. Okay, so just one. Cross-hatching a little bit. Right here's a little bit dark. I'm pushing inward a little bit more. Right here it's a little bonier, so the highlight's a little bit sharper. Okay, I'm just gonna draw this line because we can't see that unless we can't see the highlight unless we make the background dark. Okay, so I'm coming down here. Highlight is here. Just gonna draw that in, and then another one on the bottom right here. And all this is gonna be darker. Now in terms of direction of the stroke, I'm just doing whatever. I think it's okay at this initial stage. I'm just kind of coming down. I mean, normally you probably go sideways because if it's a long shape, you tend to go this way as opposed to going this way. It's a little bit easier to control when it's shorter. But I'm just doing it whatever because I'm just connecting them anyways. So go this way here. Here's the crease. Just kind of squinting my eyes. Again, we can't see this rim, strong rim lighting here until we make it the background dark. Here, this part's darker. Okay, so it's starting to take shape. Let's see, right here is a little bit tricky. I always find the musculature here very, yeah, just tricky because it's smaller and there's a bone area right here. Let me push this up a little bit. I know you guys might find it strange the way I'm drawing anatomy here. Normally I was, you see other people doing anatomy, they would draw, a lot of broader shapes first. But I've been drawing like this. It's actually kind of fun. You just kind of go for it wherever you are, as opposed to setting things up. So I'm just seeing this area right here. I'm just literally just going, seeing these shapes, and just trying to put in the correct shading at the same time. It's a little bit strange, but it's kind of fun. I mean, you should try it if you haven't. Just draw like this. Don't worry about the directions or the strokes or cross hatching or any of that. Just try to draw what you see and just try to get the correct shading. So here, I know hope is not confusing the way I'm sketching. But again, I just like to have fun drawing. I don't like processes. I mean, if you like to set things up, that's great too. And really learn the structure, yeah, that's great, For me, I just like to kind of sit down or stand up as I'm doing now and just get a piece of paper and just draw something. And not spend too long on any drawing. I kind of like to jump around a little bit too much. Okay, let's come back up here. Kind of gone lost here. Feeling my mind just kind of wandered. So this is dark. I'm just going to make this darker. So very short strokes. I know it's messy, but I can always come back in here. Like if I want to fill this in a little bit more, just kind of clean that up so it's okay. Here, crease. Okay, let's come back up here. So if you notice the difference, this is where I started, and this is as I progress a little bit, how the strokes are different. And right here, I like it a lot more. It's just looser. This is me being a little bit too tentative. Okay, so I'm gonna work my way back up. Let's see if I get some better shading here. So the hardest part for me, I think for drawing, it's not necessarily the hand. It's actually being able to see the values correctly. Now, of course, we have to translate that, with our pencil and stuff. Translate that onto the paper, and that's all the hand control and stuff, which is something, obviously you need. But being able to visualize what is going on here how the values are next to each other and what they are. Yeah, if you can see that clearly, that's like half the battle. A lot of times things, when you draw something, you're like, hey, how come this doesn't look right? And then you go back, and when you look at it, you're able to, if you're able to see clearly, you're gonna see, oh my god, it's like these, the values are all wrong. And something that is like here, this is dark, this should be darker here too. And if this becomes too light, then all of a sudden this area pops out and you're like, hey, wait a minute, that just looks weird. But sometimes you can't see that, or I can't see that as well. And it just takes practice. It's like here. So this part I've gone over so many times. It's just, it feels a little bit smoother. The texture of the paper is gone, so it's not as nice. Whereas here, I think I got it correct earlier on. So the paper texture is still there and it looks better. In my opinion, this thing looks a little bit too kind of, too, the surface of the paper is a little bit too play with. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Yeah, something is missing here. So this part needs to be a little bit lighter. I'm just gonna get my knead eraser and just kind of dab it. The wrist right here is always tricky to me. Again, it goes from musculature and into a very, very bony area. So the highlights are a lot sharper, so everything is just smaller. So it blends, like smooth, and it goes tighter and tighter. And that's how we visualize these shapes. So if things are not sharp here, we won't feel that, these are like the bony areas. So that's why it's, the transition is very important here. So the shading, I'm just drawing these little wiggly shapes like this. Kind of works well for musculature. That works pretty well. As opposed to doing, I don't know, if you cross hatch, that's cool too, but it just looks a little stiff to me. This one I just kind of keep moving. It's kind of nice. And if you keep going, you can eventually fill everything up, and you can actually get a very nice, smooth and organic feel to this. I mean, you can cross hatch like this too. But with this one, you get to keep the pencil on the paper the whole time, which is kind of nice. So like here, just little wiggly shapes. And let's see. Well, let's just go ahead and do this, so that we can just kind of concentrate in this area. So I'll just make this dark. Now, if you want to make the background dark or anything like this, don't start in the middle. Always start in, where this edge is, because that is the important edge, and just kind of go through that first. Just get the important part first, and then in the middle, then we can just come in here with a broader shape or whatever. Or you can have, even a little bit more like artistic expression and just kind of leave it lighter. things like that. So we don't we don't put too much emphasis into these areas that are not important. Okay, so now we can see the little rim lighting here. Let's see. Well, I guess we need to do the back too then. Yeah, this 2B just, it doesn't go that dark. It should push down pretty hard. Okay, let's come back up here. So if I were to do another pass, it's just a matter of refining certain areas. Things just kind of get smaller and smaller as I focus on the smaller details. Something is off here, I can't really tell. I'm not feeling this area as much. Yeah, I mean the drawing itself is off too. Let me correct that. A good thing with a black background is you just kind of go right over it. Sharper here, again, very sharp here because it's bony. So this is kind of continuous all the way here. So a little bit of rim lighting here. Just kind of talking to myself. Yeah, okay. So I guess it's okay. I mean, there's a lot of little subtle shading here. Okay. So I think that's about it. Actually, it looks kind of crappy. Yeah, I'm not feeling the form. Some of it, but not. Maybe the male musculature is easier because it's a little bit larger, a little bit more, I guess, obvious. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to shade. Subtle things are always harder for me. Seems like, female bodies are smoother. Always harder to draw, I think. Anything that's more subtle. If you draw something to the extreme, it's always easier because we can see it a little bit better, right? See the shapes a little bit better, whereas this is more subtle, especially here. Okay, so I think that's about it for this. I mean, I don't know if I'll continue with this. I'm kind of bored with this thing right here. I might try to fix some of it off camera, but if not, I guess that's about it. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know, what you want me to draw. Anatomy is always fun. Let's see what I want to draw next. Maybe a male anatomy might be good. I actually downloaded some images already. Maybe I'll draw that next. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's about it for this one, and hope you guys are able to learn something. I know this one turned out kind of a mess, but that's how it is in art, right? Not everything is great. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.